Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
How's everyone doing today? On a scale of 1 to 10.
10. 10. After this workout?
9.5.
9.5? 10?
Well, actually 9.5.
Let's make it a 9.5.
Yeah.
You know what? 9.15 and up is very good. I'm happy to hear that. So I wanted to introduce myself first. My name is Mark. I'm a peer specialist. I don't know if any of you know what that is. If not, a peer counselor is somewhat in between a therapist and a peer, which basically just means that you have your own mental health issues and you use those to assist others. You use that to assist others with their various struggles by relating to them and letting them know that you've been through and how you've gotten through those things. So as this is a presentation for Flowers of Hope, Flowers of Hope focuses for the body, mind, and soul. I wanted to ask everyone, what are the elements that it takes for a flower to grow? And does anyone want to say it on the mic?
Seed.
Good seed, water, soil, and somebody to take care of it.
Oh, I love that.
Yay.
That was a great answer. And people said what? Sunshine,
Yes.
water, air.
Sun, yes.
So those are the main elements of what it takes to make a flower grow. I wasn't big on science. I just kind of looked these things up for this presentation. It's a process called, you know what the process is called? Yeah, you're all better than me. Photosynthesis.
We remember 9th grade. Science.
I did not do well in 9th grade science, but photosynthesis is that process. So I was looking up a quick definition, and plants take in water through their roots, carbon dioxide from the air, and energy from the sunlight. You already know. For photosynthesis to occur, all of those elements have to be occurring in harmony. If you're missing one of those elements, it's going to stunt the growth of the plant or the flower. And a lot of things can affect that growth. Insufficient light, cold temperatures, lack of carbon dioxide. Any neglected element can deeply affect that plant or flower's chance of survival. So if you have a flower in your house or in your garden and you look at it and you see that it's wilting or it's not growing properly, if something's wrong, what are you gonna do? You're gonna water it, you're gonna nurture it.
Yeah.
Some people talk to their plants. You know, you're gonna
Change the location.
change the location, make sure that it's getting adequate sun and air and everything like that. It's pretty simple as to what to do to a plant when the plant is dying. So how do we people make sure that we are growing adequately and appropriately and our needs are met? Food. I like that one. I like food. Take care of each other.
We don't sometimes, some of us don't get enough.
Some of us don't get enough. I don't get enough. I probably slept about 4 hours last night. Not enough.
Not enough.
Anything else?
Friendships.
Friendships.
Social network,
Social network.
love.
Answers. Love. So the point is, all of you had different answers. I didn't know what answers you were going to give, but it's a lot more complicated than photosynthesis. It's not just a few different elements that you need. One thing that some of you may have heard of before is the 8 dimensions of wellness. Have you heard of that before? So the 8 dimensions of wellness are emotional, physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna repeat those. Emotional, physical, occupational, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial. They don't really teach you those things in school. Those are just things that I learned later on as I became a counselor, actually. So out of those 8 dimensions, I think that the ones that we tend to focus on the most are physical, occupational, intellectual, and financial. We focus on our physical body, we focus on getting smarter, and we focus on money, getting a job, and we kind of neglect the other ones. And one of the biggest ones that we neglect is our mental health. If we have something that's physically wrong with us, we check it right away. Something hurts. Like my leg hurts, my arm hurts, whatever it is, I'm gonna go to the doctor and get a diagnosis and have the doctor tell me what I need to feel better. But our mental health is something that we can actually keep going for a while without checking in on that, without checking if we have all those elements, the sun, the water, the air. Something can be missing and we're still going around, we're still going to work, we're still hanging around with our friends, we're still doing whatever, but we could be suffering inside. It's like not watering the roots. So I want to get into this talk about mental health. Does anyone have an idea? What comes to your mind when you hear mental health? Therapy? Depression. So I consider that there is no health without mental health. Mental health is pertaining to how we're doing psychologically and emotionally. Basically, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? How is work? How are things for you at home? How are your relationships and friendships going? I consider it taking an inventory of how you think, feel, and behave. And unfortunately, it's something that people don't usually check on until it's severely impacted. And I know that that was the case for me, personally. I was going through life when I was about 21 or 22 years old. And I was only focused on enjoying my life, getting a good job. I went to school, I got my degree, I was getting a decent amount of money, and I was happy about those things. But I was neglecting my mental health. I wasn't even thinking about it. If I had problems that were bothering me, if I had things that were stressing me, if I was going through traumatic situations, I was used to just kind of dusting it off and keep going. And I kept going and I kept going until it got to a point where I couldn't keep going anymore, and my body and my mind let me know that. That was in the form of panic attacks. And I don't know if anyone has experienced a panic attack before, but they can be very scary, and you can feel like you're dying. You can feel like you just can't get that grasp of air, and it's just very stressful, especially when you don't know what it is. Now I kind of know what it is, so I know how to kind of self-correct in a way, but at the time I didn't know. And I went to the doctor. You know, the doctor was like, oh, no problem, you have general anxiety disorder, you have depression, here's some Xanax, take that, and you'll be okay. But there's so many elements to being a totally healthy and well person, way more than just physical. And I learned that from going to an extreme where I broke down. I learned that from going to an extreme where I kind of broke down and had to build myself back up from scratch. Where if I had regular check-ins and I said, okay, something's not right with me, I don't feel right, I'm having all these different negative thoughts, I have different things that make me concerned about my mental health, let me talk to somebody. Let me go find a counselor, a therapist. Let me talk to a friend. Let me talk to somebody that I trust. If I was doing that regularly, I wouldn't have got to this extreme where I needed so much help and rehabilitation to get myself back to a point where I felt healthy again, mentally and physically. So, when do you feel like is an appropriate time to seek help? Most black people don't, she said, and that is so true.
We're survivors. We'll do it. We'll think about, especially ourselves. We'll think about ourselves later because we have A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. Still do it. We have to do it. So.
Yes, in case you didn't hear that, basically she said that we think about all the different people and things that we need to do, people we need to help and things that we need to do before we think of ourselves. And we're just kind of programmed to keep going. And I think that a lot of people of color, honestly, are programmed to kind of live with depression. It's just a normal thing that's in the background where it's like, well, I'm tough and I'm strong, so I just keep going and I just keep pushing. But what worth is that to you if you are suffering inside? And the other thing I want to say is we all have limits. We all have limits to how much that we can take. We all have a certain cup, and there's only so much within that cup. And when we start pouring that cup out into others and into other people who need us, we don't have enough for what we need for ourselves because we have our own things that we go through in a day-to-day. We need the amount that's in that cup for our day-to-day stresses and struggles that we go through. And then when we start saying, oh, okay, I'm going to help this friend, I'm going to help this family member, I'm going to help my kids, I'm going to help this person, I'm going to help that person. Now you're on empty, and what are you pouring from? And then what happens when your cup is empty? A lot of times, nobody's gonna feel that for you. So you have to make sure at all times that you are self-checking, regular self-check-ins. Just as I was talking about the flowers at the beginning, how often do you check on your plants in your house or in your garden?
Regularly.
Every day, right? Regularly, right? So why don't we check on ourselves every day? I think that is more important, just as important. I know some people love their flowers. Just as important as checking on your flowers. Gina always refers to everybody in her organization as her flowers in her garden. And a gardener takes very good care of their flowers. So self-care is very important for all of us. And when I say self-care, I think people think of that in a really general term, but I mean regular things that we do to maintain our mental health, our positive spirit, things that we do to build ourselves up, things that make us happy, because we tend to get into these pockets of routines where we're just going on autopilot. You get up in the morning, you know, you go where you have to go, whether that's work or whatever it is that you're doing, and you just go from day to day to day to day to day, but you're really getting depleted because you're not doing anything to build yourself up. Does anyone have a self-care routine?
Hello everybody, my name is Ms. Morris. For me, as I said before, I try to have like a spiritual routine in the morning, you know, some positive words that I'm going to be okay, I'm beautiful, you know, I'm hot, I always tell myself that. And I also do like prayer for my kids, you know, I have a special prayer for my son. I just pray, because since they're in the technological world, I make sure I play everything, a prayer for my son, a prayer for my daughter, and I make sure I watch what I eat as well. You know, I eat a lot, but I'm trying my best to take care of me. For example, this week I was feeling sick. Like Sunday I was in the bed all day, and I was kind of in tune in my body. And I said, no, I'm getting sick because the staff on my job getting sick. And I was like, I'm not going to get sick. So what I did, I went to the fruit bar. And every day I went to the lady and I was like, I'm getting sick. So every day I went to her and she mixed some green stuff with vitamin C in there. And I feel better. Every day I felt better. I didn't have to go to the hospital to get emergency or whatever. Also, as you said before, as a mom, a single mom, I always take care of everybody except for me. So lately I've decided I'm going to take care of me. Whenever I come home from work, I drop everything. I have all my stuff ready, lined up, and in 2 seconds I have it on and I'm outside walking. And I have my pumping music and I'm like, I'm taking care of me first. And I have my music and I feel happy and I'm all crazy. And then I come home and take care of them because I realize 2 seconds they're going to leave me all by myself and I have to make sure I take care of me. Yes. And that's how I get to meet my neighbor. It's Nicole walking. Yes, and we are here together. Yes. And also mental health is very, very important. I learned that late in life because I was in like a very bad relationship, and I realized my mental health was depleting. And it was so good to surround yourself with people, positive people that can guide you, not telling you to stay in certain situations where it's unhealthy, but they guide you to make you better. And that's why I'm here, to take care of me. And I'm 45.
Thank you so much. That was a great testimony.
I feel like something is missing. I get up, do my usual routine. Instead of driving to take the bus or go on a walk, I'll park my car, just leave my car where it is. I will trek to the railroad, take the train, get to work. Lunchtime, I don't miss it with any kind of business or pleasure. I have a client coming in 10 minutes before my time, going to walk. I said, no, you're gonna have to wait or make an appointment, come back next time. I have to take care of me. That 1 hour, lunchtime, all the staffs, my boss, everybody knows me that Nikki must take care of Nikki during her lunchtime. I have to go for my walk. So when I come back from work, then you can talk to me. I'm a happy camper. But beside that, nothing goes. I'll come back home from work. Mommy this. I say, nope, it's me time. I put on my, before I leave, I already lay out what I'm going to wear to go for my walk. When I come back from work, and I put on my gear, I'm out. And Brooke, mommy this, I say, I'll tell them, no, this is me time. I have to take care of me to take care of you guys. So I will go, come back, and then we can relax, talk to me. Another thing that I have lately have make it as a point of a habit is to take a long vacation for me. No kids, me time. I go international. I just came back from Thailand and Turkey. Last year I went to Dubai. I said, me time. I gotta take care of me, because if I don't get to spend it on me, if anything happens, they will take care of themselves. The kid will survive. So now it's me time. So that kind of always help me emotionally, mentally, and then I can be able to take care of other people.
I'm learning that.
Thank you.
Good support.
Thank you. That was very good. Walking is something that I do too. It's really important because it's just your own time to be alone in nature and not have to focus on anything, especially when it comes to in the middle of work. I had one last thing that I wanted to close with. A psychologist walked around a room while teaching stress management to an audience. As she raised a glass of water, everyone expected that they'd be asked half empty or half full. Instead, with a smile on her face, she inquired, "How heavy is this glass of water?" The answers called out ranged from 8 ounces to 20 ounces. She replied, the absolute weight doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold it. If I hold it for a minute, it's not a problem. If I hold it for an hour, I'll have an ache in my arm. If I hold it for a day, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. In each case, the weight of the glass doesn't change, but the longer I hold it, the heavier it becomes. She continued, "The stresses and worries in life are like that glass of water. Think about them for a while and nothing happens. Think about them a bit longer and they begin to hurt. And if you think about them all day long, you will feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Remember to put the glass down."
But thank you all for coming out. I really thank Mark for bringing this presentation to us. Let's give him a hand, everybody. We really appreciate the fact that you came out and you took the time to give us this information. Like one of our members said, that most of us do not take our mental health time. We don't look into our own mental health. We don't look for therapy as often as maybe we should. So this program, Flowers of Hope, is for your mind, your body, your spirit, your soul. So we are trying to build each other up. That walk that Nikki is talking about and some other people are talking about, that has been such a major thing for so many of us, just getting out and having that alone time. And someone said it, and I think most of us are recognizing it. We do not look at our own mental health. We're looking at all of the things that we have to do and all of the people that we have to take care of on a regular basis that we forget ourselves. And for any of you who have ever flown, I think that the flight attendant tells us how we should actually be living our lives. We should be taking care of ourselves first so that we are able to help others. So if you don't remember anything else from today, remember that you have to take care of yourself so that you are able to take care of others. Mark has given us some good ideas. He has given us some good information. I thank you so much for your time. I know that he is a peer specialist, so that means he has gone through some things and he is willing and able to help us. And I think just by some of our conversations, although they have been short, we are able to connect. So connect with a friend, connect with a peer specialist. If you need help, seek that help, search for that help. Don't let your problems become like that cup of water. It's 8 ounces in a minute, but 8 ounces in a day are numbing. So some of those problems that we have, they seem so small, but as they begin to take over your time, your space, your mind, they become very heavy. So I want all of you, ladies and gentlemen, to remember your mental health is a very important part of your health. Don't forget about it. Put the glass down.
All right.